Okay, looks like we're live. Got for us to open today. I've got GI Joe Classified Series Tiger Force Outback, or should I say Stuart Outback Selkirk. I'm guessing that's some kind of trademarking issue. They probably had to call him by his full file name with the code name in there in the middle, probably for some kind of trademark reasons. I'm guessing maybe like Outback Steakhouse doesn't like the fact that there's a character called Outback in GI Joe. Excuse me one moment. I'm gonna get my X-Acto knife because I think I left it over on the windowsill. So there we go. I'm back. So we can be ready to open this guy. Like I've been using this StreamYard thing, and it's good for streaming on my phone, but it's reverse of how it used to be on my laptop, because my laptop would reverse everything, so I saw it like as a mirror. But StreamYard doesn't really do that. StreamYard just shows everything like regular, and that kind of throws me off a little bit. Let's see. I'm seeing if there's some way I can do this. Mirror my camera. Hey, so that'll look better, I think. Okay. We're still on. There we go. Okay. So, but nobody's watching this yet. I'm not really surprised because it's not like I announce these or anything. And like I say, I'm not really making these with the intention of them being like live streams per se, where we chat and talk about stuff. Although if anybody wants to watch it and chat and talk about stuff, you're more than welcome to. Like I have no problem with that, but it's not really the intention. It's just like a more convenient way for me to get these videos up for people to watch. So, but if you are interested in participating in these live streams and making comments while they happen, I would suggest you like and subscribe and hit the little bell and all that fun stuff down there, and let YouTube know that you're actually interested in listening to this bald, gray-haired, bearded guy sit here and talk about action figures. And speaking of gray beards, yeah, there's Outback in there. He looks like he's aged quite a bit from the version 1 figure. Although in Classified, this is the version 1 figure, and the original version will wind up being a repaint of this one, because this is based on the Tiger Force Outback, which actually was not released here in the United States. It was a foreign exclusive, and but it's a popular enough figure even among American collectors that they decided to do a new version of him for GI Joe Classified. And let's take a look at the back of the package here. It's got this cool sort of like monitor with like all kinds of displays and things like that. It's kind of similar to the Cobra Island background. I point this out because it is something that's different from the usual. And then we have all these obscure things over here in lieu of a file card. I don't know what any of those mean. Apparently, you're supposed to look them up on the website, but like I've pointed out before, it doesn't say to look it up on the website, so I don't know. And then we got some nice artwork of Outback. Here he is. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like 90s painted comic book art, like the sort of thing like you might see Dave McKean do. I mean, it's not quite as esoteric as that, but it does kind of remind me a little bit of like his artwork in Arkham Asylum, or like other artists that would paint at that time, like John Bolton, for example. So it kind of reminds me of that artwork. I also kind of want to talk a little bit about this Tiger Force logo, which I think is pretty cool. It's not the original Tiger Force logo. It is an updated version. I'm going to try to get it to focus a little bit better. Look at it. It's got like a little star in the R in Force. It kind of looks almost kind of like it's got like a G.I. Joe sort of feel to it, kind of like the early 2000s G.I. Joe logo. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. So, but it's very reminiscent of that original Tiger Force logo that we had back in the late '80s. But it does have a little more of a 21st century feel. And I notice in a nice little bit of synergy that the tiger emblem is the same one that's on his shirt. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if they're like exactly identical. Like I think the one on their shirt might have a little more black on it, and it's obviously not quite the same shade of orange, but close enough for me anyway. So, but I think that's about all there is to say about the packaging. We've been over the classified packaging before, and other than the things that I pointed out that are different, it's pretty much fits in that same ballpark. It is one that still uses some plastic as part of the packaging, so thank heavens for that. So I feel really bad for the mint and box classified collectors once they start putting them in those cardboard boxes, like the one that Kamakura and Sergeant Slaughter came in, which I did videos for those, but my laptop got stolen. So, okay, let's have a look at his accessories. So we got like a little knife here. Try to get that focus a little better. Is that focusing? Phone camera can only do so much. All right, so we got that little knife. And we got a handgun. So that's pretty cool. It's got looks like a little flashlight attached to it, and some tape around the handle. So that's some nice attention to detail there. I like the little tape around the handle. That makes it seem a little more sort of rustic. Like makes me think about something Outback would carry. He is a survivalist after all. Even the orange shirt kind of makes sense. I know you might think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but if he was in a situation where he wanted to be found, like if he was like trapped on a desert island, or the wilderness somewhere, and was trying to get somebody's attention, yeah, orange would be a good color to wear, wouldn't it? So here's the ammo clip for his submachine gun, and here's his submachine gun, which is not identical to the one that came with the original figure in the '80s, but it does have, I think, a similar flavor and feeling to it. Like, I kind of interpreted there's like a triangular sort of thing here on the original one, and I kind of interpreted that as being like a folded up bipod or something like that. I don't know if that was the intention or not, but I kind of figured that was the intention. This one's got like an extra grip in the front. I think that's going to be a lot more useful to me than like a bipod would be anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and put the magazine into the rifle, and it doesn't seem like it goes in there and it's not falling out, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of friction here, and it doesn't fit in here as tightly as some of these do. And even the ones that fit in there tightly, sometimes I have a problem with them falling out. So usually I just wind up gluing them in, and I'm probably going to wind up gluing that one in as well. So next we have what civilians like you and I would call a shovel, but I'm sure that Outback refers to it as an entrenching tool, because that's what they call it in the military. It's an entrenching tool because it's a tool that you use to entrench. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got, since he is Outback, he has a gigantic backpack. Where would Outback be without his gigantic backpack? And lo and behold, there are a couple of pegs on the sides here. And I think I know exactly what those pegs are for, because you notice on the shovel/entrenching tool, there is a small hole there. And I'm guessing that our shovel/entrenching tool will fit directly on the backpack. I think I'm going to put it on this side. There we go. I don't think it matters which way. Does it open up? It seems like it might open up. I don't think it opens up. I was thinking it might at first, but it doesn't look like it does. So, oh well. And last, but certainly not least, of Outback's accessories is this little flashlight. And of course, the original Outback came with a little flashlight that clipped onto his thigh. It had a little peg and it fit into a little hole in his thigh, like right where his pocket was. And so this is one that if you're a fan of the old Outback figure, you're very familiar with this accessory, and you're going to be very happy to see it with this guy. And he's got like a specially made bespoke flashlight holster to hold the flashlight with. So I'm excited about that. Let's go ahead and get Outback himself out of the package. No rubber bands or twist ties or anything like that. He just came right out of the package. So that was nice. I would like to commend Hasbro for protecting the environment by not making any rubber bands or twist ties to throw away as part of his packaging. I don't really mind the other plastic so much. I like the other plastic, but the rubber bands and twist ties, I hate those things. So there's Outback. And very nice figure, a lot of good sculpting and painting details to him. He does have a camo pattern on his pants. It's like a dark brown. His boots appear to be a dark brown, and his holster and his flashlight clip, whatever you want to call that, and his knife sheath are a lighter shade of brown. So he looks very cool. And then he's got like kind of looks like they're kind of black, almost dark gray sort of gloves. I would prefer them to be gray because the original figure had gray gloves. Both the original Outback figure and the original Tiger Force Outback figure in the vintage line both had gray gloves. So it's kind of a little bit of a trademark with him. I do believe that the Night Force version had black, but he was running around at night. So see if he can stand on his own while I'm doing this. He's got kind of the standard G.I. Joe classified articulation. The arms go all the way around this way. Bicep swivels all the way around. Elbow is double jointed elbow. Bends up about so far. Wrists pivot all the way around and go in and out. I would prefer they went vertically instead of horizontally because he's a military character and that helps him hold the gun better. But whatever. It looks like this one actually does vertically. So the right hand does horizontally and the left hand does vertically. I would rather they both are vertical. If it were up to me, that's how I would do it. So and then legs move up about yay far. He can do the splits almost no problem. And don't quite do the splits. Double jointed knees. It seem like they're a little stiff, so I don't want to force them. Maybe I can coax them a little bit. Those knees are really stiff, so I'm going to hit those with the hairdryer later. Got the cool rocker ankles. Ankles seem nice and tight, but not overly tight. Like I said, rocker ankles, so they pivot back and forth that way and back and forth that way. So that's cool. That's all very cool. So we already got the entrenching tool in the backpack, and it looks like the trigger guard is the same sort of rectangular shape as the hole in the entrenching tool. So that leads me to believe that Outback can also, oh yeah, he can hold his rifle on his backpack. So this is great. We have here a figure that does one of my favorite things that a G.I. Joe figure can do, which is that he can hold every accessory that he comes with. That's pretty impressive. So let's go ahead and get him all geared up and get all of his accessories in here. This knife is an interesting shape to it. It's almost a shape like a kukri knife, but it's not quite as curved away from the handle. It's still straight out from the handle, but you can see the shape of it is kind of like that. It's got the sort of, you know, the, what do you call it? The serration here. So that's nice. So we'll put that at his ankle, just like how the original Outback had a knife at his ankle. And like with many G.I. Joe figures that I had when I was a kid, I wished that the knife would be removable and that I could actually take it out and have him use it in his adventures. And I guess the people at Hasbro currently, probably dudes my same age, had the same thought. So now we have all these removable accessories that are very cool. So we can put the pistol into the holster there, and we can put the flashlight into its little loop here. There's a couple little loops that it fits through, and there he is, folks. There is our Outback. Get the backpack in there. Hopefully the backpack will go in good. Dusty's backpack went in really well, which that's one of those videos that was on my laptop that got stolen. So I made a video for you guys on Dusty, but it got stolen. Sorry. My videos are so hot, people be stealing them. Huh? Yeah. All right. So yeah, the backpack fits on him pretty well. Not quite as tight as Dusty, I don't think, but it's still like pretty snugly on there. If you were a kid playing with this in your backyard, I don't think you'd worry about the backpack falling off and getting lost. Let's have a look at that head sculpt there. And it's a pretty sharp looking head sculpt. The hair is a separate piece, as it often is these days, so they can layer it over the headband in some interesting ways. It looks good. You know, this guy's like seen a lot of action since the old days when he had that red hair and it's all gone to white. I know that like one of the convention exclusive figures that they made, where they based it off of the Tiger Force Outback, they had that as part of a zombie apocalypse kind of storyline. So it actually did take place in the future. So that's why he'd gone gray. Obviously, the stress of dealing with zombies was a little too much for Outback. So, but it didn't say anything about zombies on here. So I don't know. Maybe he just went prematurely gray. I don't know. Whatever. But it's a really nice looking figure. It's not the definitive Outback like the guy with the white survival T-shirt and the red hair, but it's still a really cool figure in its own right. And I still accept it as the character, even though it's kind of weird that he would just have a completely different hair color in this version. But it's really sharp with the orange and the tiger decal on the front. Very cool, like a nice. It's not decal; it's tampograph. But and then the dark green with the camo pattern on there. It all comes together really nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and pose him holding his submachine gun, which I really like because, like I said, it's not 100% that vintage submachine gun, but it's close enough. And I think it's a little more. Something fell off of it. What fell off of it? I heard something fall off. It's the clip. It's the ammo clip. It fell out of the gun. I knew you were going to be trouble. I just knew it. So yeah, this strap, he could probably just strap, put it over his shoulder with the strap if you wanted to do that, if you didn't want to bother with putting on his backpack. But they went through all the trouble of making it so you could put on his backpack. So why would I not want to? So I'm going to go ahead and pose him, make sure the gun's good in his hand, and pose him with the grip in the other hand. I'm going to do that before I put the clip back in because I don't want to drop that ammo. So, man, that is a tight grip. We're gonna call that close enough for now. No, I think I can get the rest of it. Come on, you. There we go. So there he is, holding it with the two-handed grip. Very cool. We can pivot it a little more closely in that way. Man, he is one bad mother. Yeah. This is not a show for kids. I will point out that there is one way that this fits in here, because I don't know if you can see it, but you can actually see a little bit of the bullet sculpted in there. So it is definitely supposed to fit in one way. So once I'm done with this video, I'm going to go ahead and put a little drop of super glue on the ammo clip, put it back in there, stick it in there nice and tight, make sure it ain't going to fall out. So yeah. Do I recommend this figure? Absolutely, I recommend this figure. Now, I know some people would probably, maybe they're not fans of this particular look for Outback, and they would prefer the traditional look, which is coming. I've already got mine pre-ordered on Amazon. Uh, and I'd be lying if I said that wasn't my favorite look for this character. But I do think that this is also a good look for Outback. And even if I didn't, like, I could even, like, since he is different enough with the different color hair, I could almost think of him as being a different character entirely. So since we know that the version 1 Outback is coming, we've got that on the way. And this Outback, the Tiger Force Outback, we already have. I was lucky enough to find him at Target today. I pre-ordered him actually on the Target app, and it got canceled for some stupid reason or another. It was very frustrating. But thankfully, I was able to find one. I was able to get one. But since I had the original one on the way from Amazon, I was kind of like, well, if I'm not able to get the newer figure, if I'm not able to get that version, it won't be so bad because I'll have the version 1, and that's my favorite. But I did really want to have this guy as well because I do think he's really cool in his own right. And you can almost think of him as being a different character. So, but yeah, since we got this one and we got the version 1, I hope that Hasbro is at least considering doing a Night Force Outback, because I think that would be really sweet. That would be another good one to do for like a store exclusive. Like this is a good choice to me to do for a Target exclusive, because if you weren't able to get this one, they're doing a general release of the regular Outback later, so you can get him. It's not like with Beachhead, where if you didn't get that Beachhead, you were just SOL, because Beachhead is such an important character. But with Outback, like that's kind of what I figure they should do for store exclusives, is do the variants that maybe your hardcore collectors would really want. And obviously, like this version has its fans. It's kind of one of the holy grails of G.I. Joe figures from the vintage line. It's a very expensive figure to acquire. But I kind of figure most people, if they had the version 1, they'd be like, well, I'm set. It'd be nice to have that one, but I don't 100% need it. But I'm really happy that I got him. I mean, that kind of was the category that I was in. I was kind of thinking to myself, if I wasn't able to get the Tiger Force Outback, at least I'll be able to get this one that I pre-ordered off of Amazon. But hey, I was able to get him, so that's cool. And he is a favorite character of mine. Actually, on my Facebook page, coincidentally enough, the other day I'd found one of my favorite pages from the G.I. Joe comic book involving Outback. So if you go and look at my Facebook page, you can see that I shared it there. And then I wound up finding him today, so that made me very happy. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I've got a lot more stuff on the way. I've got more figures open. Got a lot of cool things. I've picked up this really cool Stratos figure today while I was on at Target. So, and then I've got a bunch of stuff that's backed up that I need to be opening. I got some McFarlane DC stuff, and so some more Migos on the way. I've got the original Captain Marvel, Shazam, as the lawyers want us to call him, but I'm always going to call him Captain Marvel. And oh, sorry, that was the cord from my laptop. Sat on it, and that just made my whole table move around. This is a very precarious setup that I have here. I have this little ring light. That's where all the light's coming from. It's like I said, the fuse for my overhead light blew, and I haven't had a chance to replace it yet. It's the breaker, not the fuse. So that breaker's got to be replaced. So somebody was supposed to come do it the other day, but they never showed up. So I guess that didn't happen. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about our pal Stuart here. My friend Rudy, Rue's Reviews, if you haven't seen it, he his wife, I think, had pre-ordered this figure for him for like a birthday present or something. I forget exactly what. And she kept telling him that was it, no, it wasn't this one. It wasn't this one. It was barbecue because his first name is Gabriel. So she kept telling him uh, Gabriel's going to be here on Thursday, and their son is also named Gabriel. So he's like, why wouldn't he be here on Thursday? We're kind of confused by that. I thought that was a funny story. Anyway, that's pretty much it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. That's the end.